You submitted a statement
Yes.
along with this, which was your prerogative and your right.
200 words or less.
Yeah, so I guess that pretty much expressed it?
You know, we're entitled to submit a statement, in support of our record and basically in opposition to the recall petition, and we did that, and we just highlighted a couple of things that we think we've done in, the years that we've been in office. Paving more streets, hiring police officers, things like that, and doing everything we could to deal with the fiscal nightmare that we're now facing along with the rest of the state, the rest of the country, the rest of the world. About 5 months ago, I guess it was, maybe 6 months ago, we laid off 275 people, provisional and seasonal employees, painful experience, all in an effort to reduce expenses, make government smaller. We did involuntary furloughs last year. We're going to do them again. Once again, that's going to save us around $2 million annually.
I guess,
we've done all those things in response to this new Great Depression that we're in response to the cuts in state aid to our city. We're down $28 million this year from last year in state aid to Jersey City. And I'm not talking about the $30 million cut to Jersey City public education. That's almost $60 million in 1 year that we're down. So we're facing some very, very difficult times, and we're doing everything we can to reduce government and still provide the necessary services for our citizens.
So, I know you put up a spirited defense about what you've been able to do here, especially under current economic circumstances. So I guess the question is, what's your reaction when, after you go through that difficult thing, I guess, what's your reaction to then now somebody putting a group together to recall you?
They're entitled to. That's part of our system here in our state here in New Jersey. Recalls. They just had one yesterday. Is it Ridgefield or Ridgefield Park? Mayor Suarez up there.
He survived that, by the way.
Yeah. Well, the recall occurred. The requisite number of legitimate signatures were garnered.
Right.
And they had the recall, and it did not work out for the petitioners anyway. And that's another thing. But, if you're in public office in this state, you better have a thick skin. And fortunately, I know who I am, I know what I've done, and I have that thick skin. And I know that upon entering this arena, people are going to throw stuff at you. This is another hurdle. It's another obstacle, and we'll deal with it. But the bottom line is that they're going to need over 30,000 legitimate signatures of registered voters, as I understand it, in this city. And what it will accomplish, if they get all those signatures, is what happened yesterday in Ridgefield. There will be a question on a ballot. Do you want the mayor recalled? And they're going to say yes or no. In Ridgefield yesterday, more people said no than yes. But even if they get the signatures, even if that question is put upon on a ballot, and even if the people come out and say yes, we want this mayor recalled, it's not the end of the process. Then there's an election, and so what they're really buying is, and I guess that's not going to happen for at least another 8 months or so. Halfway through the term, if these folks prepared for the year 2013, there will be another election.
Right.
And the voters will have an opportunity to vote me in or vote for somebody else if they choose to. And that's 2013. So I don't think that it's, I think there are better things to do to make our city better than, just willy-nilly going to recall me or anyone else. When particularly, it was only a year and a half ago, we had an election, and I thought people spoke loudly and clearly.
Is there a little bit of that? Do you almost want to say to them, you had your opportunity 12 months ago?
Well, we just had an election about 15 months ago,
Right.
And as I said, the voters spoke loudly and clearly, and, we prevailed rather handily over 4 other candidates and on the first ballot. And, any job I've ever undertaken, I not only did it to the best of my ability, but I made sure I finished it. And I have every intention of finishing the job that we started, only a year, about 13 months ago.
Right.
And I have a term to complete, and in 2013 there'll be another election. And what it almost is, they're trying to undo the democratic process. I understand this is state law, but we had an election. The people spoke. They were not happy with the results of that election, so this is another avenue for, these folks who are not happy with me or my administration, for them to go down.
Yeah, so, I mean, always the question arises then, who's behind this effort? And the big speculation, of course, is that it's Stephen Fulop.
I don't know if Steve is behind it. He said he isn't. I couldn't tell you. All I know is there are 3 names.
Right.
There's a Miss, what's the lady's name? Martha Larkins.
That one.
Thank you. There's a John Lynch,
right.
and there's there's another name. That's I honestly I don't think I know these folks.
Yeah.
I know a couple of John Lynches, but I don't think
Not
these
this John
people,
Lynch.
not this particular John Lynch. And I've heard the name Martha Larkins. This Larkins associated with the Jersey Journal.
Yes.
I'm wondering if that's the same. Is Augie behind this?
That's what I thought.
Well, stranger things have happened
Yeah.
there. So I guess the question is, has this changed the way that you approach
No.
doing your work?
No, we have a job to do. It's really simple. Work every day as hard as we can to make this city better for everybody who lives here, everybody who does business here. We have to try and deal with the budget and the taxes. That's a huge gorilla that we're wrestling with right now, and have been wrestling with for the last year or so. And at the same time, try to keep enough police officers on the street to safety, the number 1, 2, and 3 issue for any government, safety of your citizens. Response time by the fire department in times of shrinking man and woman power on both police and fire. We're trying to do all of these things, and also continue to have our city as an attractive site, a magnet, if you will, for investment, development, and the tax dollars or pilot payments, payment in lieu of tax dollars that they bring, and very importantly also jobs for our citizens. So that's the basic mission that we have. And also, I left out something very important. We want to continue to work with our Jersey City Board of Education and our Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Epps, to continue to try and make our public schools better.
Do you think that the scandal, the corruption scandal from last year has emboldened your opposition or hurt you with the electorate?
I don't think it's hurt me with the electorate. I think the people who know me and voted for me, 15 months ago, know that I am totally straightforward, totally honest. We've run clean, open, and efficient government while we've had the opportunity to be here and do so, and we're going to continue to do that. But I do think that, some of the folks, there's about 25% of the people that are never going to vote for you, no matter what happens. Some of those folks obviously took advantage of that situation to throw stones at me and some of my colleagues and at this administration. What I said July 23rd, July 24th, and today, I did nothing wrong, and I have been charged with no wrongdoing. And I think that's the real story about July 23rd. I think the people of Jersey City should be happy that their chief executive walked away unscathed in spite of various efforts by some folks to ensnare me personally in, in that web. So, I don't think it's hurt me with the voters, in my opinion. I think that most of the people understand just what I said, did nothing wrong, charged with no wrongdoing. I'm going to continue to work to make this city better. But people who didn't like the results of that election and do not like me, I think that, yes, they used it as an opportunity to, throw a few more bricks and stones at me.
Yeah, I was meant to ask you about the scandal and the U.S. Attorney's Office. Lou Manzo had this big thing about questioning their motivation and so on. Are you of that mindset also? That whole operation was somehow politically motivated?
Of course, I have my own view on that. I was a prosecutor, not at that level, and fairness is maybe the most important quality that a prosecutor at any level needs. And you not only want to stamp out crime and bring criminals to justice, but you must play fair, and you must make sure that you're not ensnaring people who are not criminal, have no criminal intention, and did not commit any crimes. I think that investigation and I think that prosecution stepped over that line. So in that sense, I think Mr. Manzo and a lot of other people have been saying that since July 23rd, and
You don't
I think it
disagree?
speaks for it. I think that investigation, that prosecution, speaks for itself. And no, I'm not going to contradict Mr. Manzo's take on this.
Excellent. All right, Mayor. I appreciate it.